Good morning, your Celebration Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Jim LaValle.
Hi, Jim. So we have a crisis in our country and around the world right now with this coronavirus, and I've been looking over your profile, and you being a pharmacist, author, board-certified clinical nutritionist, and the list goes on and on. What would you suggest to my listeners, other than the guidelines, obviously, the social distancing and all of this?
Right.
Nutrition-wise, what I've seen some stuff being posted on Facebook about the pH levels being higher than the virus. You eat those like avocados, limes, lemons, oranges, that kind of stuff. What would you suggest to the listener for health-wise?
Well, I think there's several things you can do. I mean, the first thing is we can't go out and have record alcohol sales and expect our immune systems to be strong. So, and that is what's going on. People are kind of, hey, more wine. I'm going to have, people are gaining the quarantine 15. You have to realize that those kind of behaviors are going to end up triggering inflammation chemistry in your body. And when your body has that kind of metabolic inflammation, you're more ripe for something to kind of go in the wrong direction. So you're not setting yourself up for the best defense. The best defense is a good offense. So what can you do? The first step, sure, alkalinizing your body is not a new concept. It works well for just general health, meaning people should just be eating way more plant food, a lot more vegetables, some fruit. You got to watch having too much fruit because it has a lot of fructose in it. But at the very least, get more plant food in. Avoid refined sugars because refined sugars definitely do drop your immunity. Try to get some exercise. You don't have to do excessive exercise, but get some in. And a real important thing is try to not to let the anxiety of this whole thing, which I know is very difficult for people, to try to not allow that anxiety to really get them revved up and not allow them to get a good night's sleep. A good night's sleep has a tremendous impact on your immune system. After that, I think people should take a probiotic. I mean, probiotics, there's been studies. There's one called the Friendly Trio, actually, is 3 species of probiotics that were studied at least in the flu virus and showed that it gained immunity, quite substantially for those folks because it reduced severity, incidence, and duration of flu. And that was in young college students who were stressed out over taking exams, and it was a pretty large study. And I think it's important for people to reach out and think about, well, what can I do preventatively? So I really think about eating more probiotic foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, if young people like kimchi.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't like those things, try getting more avocados in, try getting more leafy greens in. Apples are good, oatmeal's good to give your body prebiotics. Prebiotics feed the beneficial flora. You got to remember, 70% of your immune system is in your gut, and the gut flora, or the probiotics or beneficial flora that are housed in your gut, lead the way on your immune balance because this virus operates different. It creates what's called a cytokine storm or an inflammatory response. And so having those probiotics on board really helps kind of keep an immune balance to your chemistry. And I'm not saying that it's secure. I'm talking about what you can do defensively. And you've got to be careful on the, once I said, a lot of people are turning to drinking more alcohol, indulging in more, rich foods, more baking, more sweets. That's not the right path to take to keep your immune system strong.
That's not the right path at all, anyway, for your gut health as well as for your body. So, yeah, I totally get that. What can we do being locked in our homes, pretty much
right.
Most people, and not being able to get that exercise, our normal routine. How much does food play a part in keeping that immune system going?
It's probably the single most important thing you can do in combination. If you can't exercise, look, some people can still go walk outside, obviously maintain the rules, but you could do Tabatas. And Tabatas are like little exercise programs. You can pick easy, beginners, advanced, or little 10-minute, exercise programs you can do. But food is unbelievably important. All you have to do is look to the fact that people with diabetes or people that are overweight or obese have the equivalent of a low-grade infection in their immune system. So that means that your body is in a predisposed position to allow things like a virus to take off. And I'm not here to try to scare anybody. I'm just saying that this is the facts. And the more that you can manage your diet, eat more vegetables, modest amount of fruit intake, make sure you're getting fiber in your diet, eat leaner foods, don't drink alcohol to excess. I mean, I was really discouraged when I saw that those numbers are, really going up, and at liquor stores are doing great, and wine stores. That's not the idea. That's not how we keep a great defense. And so, yeah, those are the key things that you need to do, because even before this, I've been talking about the fact that, when you gain too much weight, or if you're in even a pre-diabetic condition, and look, half the U.S. population is either pre-diabetic or diabetic. 80% of the population is overweight and 40% is obese. So, now's a good time to try to instill new habits into your life that strengthen your immune system and try to make you, become more resilient to things. And I've done a lot of education over the last 2 weeks on webinars with doctors and healthcare providers on getting that concept across. And I think this may be the catalyst for people to start to reevaluate how they've been living their life. I did mention probiotics being important. People want to go online. They can obviously, a really good one that was studied in flu virus at least was called Chiodophilus. If people want to read about probiotics, they don't understand what they are, they can go to a website called probiotics.com. I'm a guest editor there. And so there's areas where people can start to do some things even when you're in your home. For me, I would have people begin to start to look inside yourself and go, why am I addicted to food? Why do I want to craving those carbs and sweets? That's what happens when we're under stress, right? We want comfort food.
Right.
We want those sweets. We want that salty, crunchy, chocolate-covered pretzel with caramel on it, right? And extra sea salt, right? I mean, that's what we're going for, man. I want that. But the problem with that is that when you spike your blood sugar after you eat something sweet, it triggers an inflammatory process in your body. So I would encourage people to watch the kind of foods they're eating, increase their vegetable intake, try to get exercise where they can, and by all means, please try to get a good night's sleep, even though I know when people get worried, they don't get a good night's sleep. So try to manage that fear and worry so that you can maintain that good night's sleep.
Yes, that sounds like really, really good advice. I know that in the bio information that Amy sent me, she included some highlighted areas, and it says that if you take your first meal at noon and your last meal was at 8 p.m. and then you have those hours of sleep in between, you're fasting for 16 hours each day. Now that can go a long way for your gut health, but what does it do for like your stress level? I mean, it's got to help with stress levels and brain activity. I mean, all of that, right?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big advocate and have taught people time-restricted eating. And what I do is try to teach people to do 12-hour fasts and then intermittently through the week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, go to that 16-hour spot. There's no doubt that your body runs by a circadian rhythm, meaning it's supposed to take in food during the day, and at night you're really supposed to not eat. And what we kind of do in our country right now is people a lot of times won't eat very much during the morning. They'll get their big cup of coffee, and that'll be about it. And maybe they'll have a little bit of lunch, but then they graze all night long, right? It's easy to turn on Netflix now, man, and I'm going to go for that bowl of chips. I'm going to go for those pretzels. Give me that bowl of ice cream, even if it is coconut-based. I'm staying off my dairy, but I'm still going at it. And your body's not meant to take that load in at that time, and it really disrupts it does disrupt your immune system to eat in that way. So, what we used to call time-restricted eating back, I grew up in an Italian family, so
there was a lot of eating.
Yeah, it's three meals a day, Jimmy, 3 square meals a day. That's it. So, that's what we forgot.
All right. Well, now you have mentioned probiotics and prebiotics before a few times, and checking out websites and things like that. So, where can the audience learn more about gut health in general, along with the probiotics and prebiotics and the types of foods? And
Sure. Yeah, they can go to probiotics.com pharmacist.com. Great resource for learning about probiotics, what they do, what value they have to your immune system. There's also information there on prebiotics. And remember, prebiotics get more fiber, artichokes, apples, green leafy vegetables, even a little bit of oatmeal in the morning, but I always worry people put cinnamon and raisins in their oatmeal, and then that becomes a sugary treat instead of a real fibrous treat. And then they can go to JimLaValle.com if they want. I mean, I have lots of information on my website that's just trying to get people to feel better and get through this time in our life where we have to really be vigilant about focusing on our health. And so, I hope that, once again, everybody's staying safe and trying to implement new things into their lifestyle that generates health, because we've needed it for a long time, and it's unfortunate that a crisis is, kind of calling us to this.
Yeah, exactly. Screen time, I mean, all of it has been increased, I would imagine,
Right.
3 or 4-fold in some cases. Children having to stay home in front of the computer to just do homework, and then you've got Netflix and other platforms that you can binge watch a whole season of a show, and you're sitting there and you can go through 2 or 3 bags of popcorn and chips and diet soda, and
Right.
by the time the night's over, you're like, what in the world did I just do?
And people don't feel that well, right? I mean, when you do that, you end up going, wait a second, I'm feeling foggy and dumpy, and I'm getting gassy, and those are the things we really have to watch. And I mean, I know even in our household, I've got my father lives with us, he's 89, so we're being super vigilant. I mean, even all my practice hours are all telemedicine now, and we aren't even doing anything other than going virtual. But the big thing is that you have to try to maintain some, it's not normal to sit and binge watch TV. Try to pick up other things that you can do to occupy your time. I mean, I know for us, we're just as busy as ever. It's giving me a chance to write my next book. So I'm editing my next book and getting my next book online. And so we got to try to get into the creative side and the good side, those good habits, and reach for things other than just that, because obviously when you start to stare at that too long, just that will disturb your sleep, right? We can get into that, first of all, the fear, but then it's all that blue light hitting you. So you got to, at some point, turn the tube off, turn the cell phone off, shut it all down, take a good bath with some Epsom salts or some lavender oil, do something that allows you to, calm yourself down. Create a ritual every day that promotes health. Look, prayer doesn't hurt either, right?
That's right.
You can certainly end your day with some thoughts in prayer.
I highly recommend it.
To help people.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
It's way better than Netflix.
It is. Very much so. I encourage it on a daily basis, yes.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate your time, James, and we'll keep your family and your father, 85, you said? 89?
89.
89 years old. Wow. We'll keep you guys in prayer.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you, too.